Tenzin Phuntsok Rinpoche, Geshe Zopa, Thupten Gyatso, Venerable Sangha, guests Ian and Judy, members and friends. It's lovely to see you all here tonight on such an auspicious occasion. My name is Ruby and I'm the director of Atisha Centre. It gives me great pleasure to welcome and introduce you, Tenzin Phuntsok Rinpoche, to, and it's an honour to have you and Geshe Zopa visit Atisha Centre, Thupten Chidrupling Monastery and the Great Stupa of Universal Compassion. And may it be the first of many visits, and may you please come back and visit us many times. Many of us have watched the movie Unmistaken Child, and also some have had teachings with the Mahasiddhi Geshe Lama Khomchok. So we're here today in a similar but different circumstances. So we hope to create the best conditions for you to grow and continue to share the Dharma, especially at this time when there's so much confusion in the world and distraction. And we really pray that you can continue to share Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings and the Mahayana and Tantric paths. So thank you so much for being here. And I'd like to invite you to share with us a few words. And then we're going to hand over to Bendigo, who's got some questions from the community. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. And first of all, I'll take the opportunity to thank the director, the sanghas, and members and staffs, and all the Dharma brothers and sisters here for this warm welcome. And since this place, this center is named after Atisha, which is a great pandit who has come from India, was one of the first to come and spread the Dharma to Tibet. And like so here, the center is teaching Dharma to the West. And also, one of the reasons why Atisha and all the others did it is because there have been problems in India at that time. Dharma was under threat. So, same thing now in the political problems and stuff in Tibet and India. Tibet, Nepal, or India. The center has brought the Dharma to the West, which I think is a very secure place, actually. Through many of the examples what's happening in the world, and since many of the Lama Tsongkhapa centers are all in the West actually, and sometimes he actually spends most of his time in the West. I mean, he only comes to Kopan about a few months, so most of the time he's in the West teaching. And another thing I would like to say is that the Sangha community here have been provided a place to stay and food, which is really important because the monks, some of them, the sanghas in the West, sometimes they have quite a lot of problems due to that. They have, since they have to work to get their own money in the West, if they're not provided with a place to stay and food. And since this is happening here, it's really important because it's easier to keep the vows and easier because it's provided for you. So, like in India and Nepal, in like Kopan Monastery or Sarah, monks, they're all provided 3 meals a day, place to stay, education provided, everything provided. And like so, if he's here like in the West, it will be easier for the monks to practice because they don't have to worry about all those lay activities. And that's just a little bit of all I would like to say.
Thank you, Rinpoche. We have some questions which members of the Atisha Centre have forwarded over the last couple of days. I'll start with an easy one first. Do you have to go to school? This is from Ella.
Well, I did go to school when I was in Australia for 2.5 years. Yes, I did.
Okay. And more on the school, what subjects did you study that you particularly liked at school? And do you have any particular subjects, particular hobbies?
My favorite subject is math and philosophy. I just like how you get to think about it, analyze it. I like that way of studying. And my hobby is to read books.
Some of the more popular books you like to read?
I basically read anything.
Okay. Do you ever wish that you were a, in inverted commas, normal teenager? And do you get a chance to do normal teenager things?
Well, I think I would still like to be an adult. Really want to be a normal teenager because here when I don't really do normal teenager stuff, but sometimes normal teenager stuff it dilutes the mind. So I'm really safe right now, not being a normal teenager.
And from your experience, 2.5 years at school here in Australia, is that right?
3.5.
3.5. Do you have any thoughts about what are the big challenges for young people these days, in the West particularly?
Yes, like the director said, the main problem here in the West I find is for kids, not for adults. I'm not sure about adults, but for kids I find is distraction through electronic devices and the advanced technologies. They get to access many resources, but sometimes they misuse it, abuse it, and they turn it into a way of entertainment, stopping them from studying. Because normally electronic devices and the technologies for study are a tool to help study. But sometimes people just abuse it and use it in negative ways. I think that's a problem at school. I mean, after school they always play games. I hardly find them reading a book.
In school?
No, after school, right after school.
They also do it in school. I'm a teacher and I'm constantly having to tell them to put them away.
Well, at my school, you're not allowed to use your computer during lunchtime at all. And our teacher, they sort of track your computer. They know what you're doing. So yeah, nobody takes risk in doing it.
Rinpoche, do you have any thoughts for Atisha Centre as to how they may attract younger people to the centre and create more interest in the Dharma with younger people?
I think a good way, I mean, this is just my opinion, is that to keep some kind of like activities, like once a month or once a week, doesn't have to be all regular, some kind of activities related to young people, Dharma activities that you can make into like into a fun activity for kids and young people, so they can, like some Vishla does this activity with me every single day. We follow 16 guidelines. He always asks me, which guideline have you followed? And sometimes it's like a competition. It's like, oh, I want to do this. If I want to achieve something, that kind of like activities would be good.
And can you maybe talk a little about how different life will be when you go to Sera compared to going to school in the West?
Different.
When you go to Sera Monastery, how different life will be for you compared to going to schools here in the West?
Well, one difference would be that when I go to Sera, my main subject would be the Buddhist philosophy. Those math and all the other academic studies would be secondary. That's the main difference. But other than that, it's actually quite similar, because in my school they teach you independence, and in Sera you also we learn through independence. The teacher isn't every day around you saying do this and do that. We have to do it by ourselves. For example, a person can study the whole week and get good marks, and teacher will say, "Oh, didn't tell them to do it." They could, or you can just waste the whole week and fail. Teacher won't say anything. It's a very independent way of studying.
And could you briefly describe to people here who may not know what a typical day in the Sera is like? Because they can be quite long, with debates and study, etc. etc.?
I'm not exactly 100% sure. I think you should ask Atisha that question to seriously in Sarah. Studying in Sarah. I just been to Sarah, not studying it. So I'm not really sure. I think you should ask Atisha.
Do you have a feeling or wish to be in retreat?
Yes. But right now I have no ability to do it. So I have a really strong wish to be doing retreats, but right now I study, so don't have the opportunity.
Do we have any other questions from the audience?
Rinpoche, do you remember much of your previous life? I saw the Unmistaken Child again last night, and you said you remembered your retreat hut very, very vividly. You led Veshla up the hill and to the retreat hut and knew exactly where to go. So do you remember much still of your previous life?
Well, I don't remember much anymore. I used to remember quite a lot, I think, since when I was 1 to 5 years old. There were delusions and factors sometimes makes me forget. So I can't remember much now, but there are possibilities to have a memory trigger, because same thing goes to when a kid reincarnated, when someone's reincarnated Rinpoche. It's not possible for them to know everything right when they are born, the first day. That's just weird and not natural, unless they're a big genius. But, so anyways, that's not possible. So sometimes that's why it's not that when someone's reincarnated they will know everything immediately. It's that they find it easier to learn it, because then they get to remember it again bit by bit. It's not that immediately in one blast. So maybe I'll have a memory trigger once in a while, but not really. I don't remember much right now.
Excuse me, Rinpoche, thank you. Your village, Sumba?
Yes.
Sumba. Did it suffer much damage during the earthquake, the recent earthquake?
I've heard quite a lot from Geshe-la. He says that all the houses were flattened, literally flattened. But luckily it was during the day and everybody was farming outside. So and nobody got injured badly. Nobody got injured badly. Just the house got broken and just got flattened. Everyone's outside, so it didn't make much difference though. But then still, they had to suffer a lot because it was cold. I think was it cold that time? But still, I mean, they had to rebuild the houses again, and they had to sleep in plastic tents, or the plastic coverings at night time. So they had suffered a lot, in that sense. No life didn't get injured.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
What are you going to be doing in the near future? Are you going to stay studying in Australia, or are you going back to India?
Well, I'm going back to India to study in Sarah end of this year. I've already withdrawn from my school already, so I'm just going to start at end of September. End of September, I'm leaving to Sarah to study. I've already withdrawn from my school, but I may be doing some correspondence studies when I'm in Sarah. I'm trying that.
Good.
While you've been at school here in Australia, have you made friends with normal kids?
I have made fair weather friends. Yes, friends for a year and they're gone because I'm gone. So I'm not going to communicate with them anyways. I mean, they don't know who I am. They don't know where I live. I mean, when I had lived in a house, but I didn't tell them where I lived. I never went to their houses. I didn't go to their birthday parties either. So.
And you didn't wear robes?
I didn't wear robes. Yes, that would be obvious. So if I wear my robes, it would be obvious that they will know. Oh, this is something unusual. And most, so I wear my school uniform when I go out. Sometimes I wear normal pants and stuff like that. Blue pants, specifically. Well, so, yeah, I had some friends there, but that's only during school time. Other than that, I didn't communicate with them a lot. And I think they forgot me already.
What Aussie rules team do you vote for?
I don't vote for anything, team. I don't know a single team. Sorry.
Good answer.
Sorry.
Rinpoche, excuse me, Gunning, will you revisit your village, your home village again in the near future?
Yes, I think I will.
Right.
Did you see your parents very often? I know in the film you said you missed your parents. And your dad said you didn't believe that you'd see them very often. How often did you see them?
When I was in Copan, I actually met them only about every 2 years or something, or 3 years. But since when I'm in Australia, I meet them every year. That's weird. I'm further away, but I meet them more, more. When I'm nearer, I meet them less. Why?
My question is about teaching children more of the Dharma. What do you think is the most important thing if we've got the opportunity to work with children, young children, that we should be teaching?
Well, I think the best way to teach or influence them is to give, first of all, is to give a good example. Because normally children, when young children, follow their parents or people, adults around it. They'll think, oh, if they're doing something good, they'll say, oh, that's good, I want to do it as well. If they do something bad, they'll think, okay, that's okay to do. So they're brought up in a good environment. That's important. And also, I think they should do it, because sometimes kids, their attention span is very short, like me. So, we give them like a fun activity to do as well, just get their attention up. I think that's good, like fun activities to help them to do Dharma. And first it will be like fake, because they're acting it out. But they take to do it again and again and again and again, it will be natural. So they'll do it again and again without asking. I think that's a good way to do it.
Great, thank you.
I think we may have exhausted our... Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
That's it? Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
We will first do some dedication prayers, and before the Gyapchen Lamas Rinpoche, on the Dalai Lama, all the gurus, and everyone's good health, everyone's prosperity and virtue, and may they all live a long life. So we shall recite the dedication prayers. Chanjo Sanjo Rinpoche, Maya Panam Gyogye, Gyawanya Bame Bayam, Gomye Gombu Bewarasho, Dongye Dawa Rinpoche, Maya Panam Gyogye, Gyawanya Bame Bayam, Gomye Gombu Bewarasho, Rimye Dawa Rinpoche, Maya Panam Gyogye, Gyawanya Bame Bayam, Gomye Gombu Bewarasho.
So you must be very tired, I think, Rinpoche, after your big day travelling from Hobart and all the way up here. So I won't go on for very long, I promise. I wanted, on behalf of everyone here, to thank you very much for coming here on the first night that you're in Bendigo. And I wanted to also tell you just a little bit of history, because it was 34 years ago this month that Lama Yeshe came here to this very site, and at that time he then took myself and another person around the site, and he said, this is where we'll build a great stupa, And he went way up the hill over there and he said, this is where we'll build a monastery. And of course here we'll build a meditation centre, a Atisha centre, and then other things as well, like a hospice and an aged care facility and so forth. So that was 34 years ago, and really Tupling Gyatso and my wife Judy and I and many others around here have been working over those past 34 years to make all this come to fruition. And then a few years later, Geshe Lama Konchok came here as well. And I remember taking him up to the site up there. It was pretty much just a clear dirt hill at that stage. And I said, this is where we intend to build this great stupa. And he said that this is a very good place to build it. And I said, well, I'm thinking of having the front door facing this way, because it's facing south. The one in Tibet also faces south. It faces to Atisha Centre. And also, way down there, which you can barely see these days because the trees have grown up, is a mountain. So he did some thought about this and said, yes, this is a very good way for the stupa to orientate itself. So that was very important at that stage to actually get that support, because then we could go ahead with the plan. So thank you for your advice then. A little bit later on Sunday, where Judy and I are going to take you up and we're going to take you inside the Great Stupa. So we'll show you what we've been doing there, trying to make that vision of Lama Yeshe's and Lama Zopa Rinpoche's come to reality. Okay? So thank you again. Thank you very much, Geshe Tenzin. Zaba.